All right, just moments ago, you heard President Biden's sales pitch for trillions more in spending, coming just a day after he scored a win on a different spending bill. All of it adding up to the biggest shift in social spending we've seen in generations. But Republicans say it's something our nation will one day regret. Let's bring in former Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy and Leslie Marshall, both our Fox News contributors. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
Okay, so we're talking now about the next step, this $3.5 trillion bill. People are looking at Senators Kirsten Sinema, Joe Manchin to see if they put the brakes on some of that spending. But, Sean, I want to talk about what's happening over in the House, because over there it's actually the left that the speaker's going to have to try to hold together. They don't think these packages go far enough. Democrats have to stick together on these votes. What happens now in the House?
Well, I think that if they stick at $3.5 trillion in the Senate and that goes over to the House, that will be enough for the left wing of the Democrat Party, I think the squad there. But if you have, Sinema and Manchin who try to pare that number down, make it smaller, and then send that package over to the House, I do think you're going to have squad members, in the socialist wing of the Democrat Party actually give a lot of pushback. Now, the House will be confronted with the idea that we can take this deal or take nothing, and I think they'd be hard-pressed not to take $2 trillion or $1.5 trillion in addition to the $1.2 trillion in the infrastructure plan that is passing the Senate, and take that home and call that a win, as opposed to taking nothing and waiting for Republicans to win the House in a year and a half.
So there's a conversation now, a great piece in the Wall Street Journal, an interesting read. I believe this is by Jason Riley in the opinion page, where he talks about Biden is delivering Obama's third term. Says a Democrat in the White House is once again discouraging work, growing the size of the welfare state, and increasing dependence on the government. Leslie, is that what voters wanted President Biden to do? They picked him.
No, and it's not, and that's an opinion piece, clearly, because when you look at the numbers and the facts, that's just not what's happening. Retail, for example, had an unprecedented increase in the month of June of 1.1 million hires. There are more stores being opened. Dollar Store has hired 20,000 people. Walmart has hired 500,000 people. Healthcare continues to hire people. And so I just don't, see more people, being on the welfare rolls. I do see people going back to work, and in retail especially, it's very encouraging. And now when you have hopefully full passage in both chambers of infrastructure, you're going to have so many jobs out there, especially in manufacturing, that I don't think anybody's going to be able to even try to pen something like that in the future.
But, Sean, that's the issue that he makes in this piece. He says, we have historically high, never had this many jobs open in the United States, more than 10 million. But he says when you get rid of, rental obligations, because you got the eviction ban, which, as we've said, the president himself questions whether it's legal or not. You free student loan payments. You have extended unemployment benefits. He makes the argument in this piece that it's more beneficial for people to stay home than go and fill some of those 10 million jobs.
And that's exactly what's happening right now. Leslie's wrong on that point. You have so many jobs open, but so many more people staying home because they're making more money by getting government assistance. And if you want to help people break into the middle class, you don't do it by welfare, you do it by work. And so let's incentivize people to get back into the workforce and help, pull the economic train. And one problem we have with these massive bills is if you want to add new taxes and more welfare benefits and also add more regulation through the Green New Deal, you're going to see businesses pack up and go to China and India, and they take their jobs with them. So you have less opportunity, less people in the middle class, and less growth, which is bad for tax revenue, which is what you need to actually pay this massive debt that Democrats are throwing on the backs of not just this generation, but future generations as well.
All right, very quick, Leslie, final word.
Well, like I said, again, it goes back to this infrastructure bill. If we get full passage, there is specific language in there that products and materials have to be from the United States. So I don't know what kind of money these corporations are going to make if they continue to, as they have for decades, send jobs to China and India. The legislation that's being put forth by the Biden administration, and both Democrats and Republicans, at least in the Senate so far, have liked and have passed, would actually prevent that and would be more incentive for people to keep factories here and to purchase goods to make those products here.
Made in the USA. All right, Leslie and Sean, thank you both.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.